How's it going, everyone? My name is Tyler Valencia, and I'm the owner of Time to Train Fitness. They're going to do a 5-month review on the IC4 from Schwinn. So if you have not seen the 1-month review, we're going to link it right above here. Go on and check that out. I'm going to go over some of the same items, just briefly touch on them, but really try to hit on the 5-month review and things that I've learned about it with 5 months of consistently using it at a minimum 2 times a week and really putting on some solid miles on it. So let's start with the positives. So in the first 1-month review that I did of the IC4, I talked about the updated console. So really, that is one of the bigger positives that I've come to really appreciate after 5 months. All on one screen at one time, you could see your calories, your RPMs, your level, your speed, all these items at once. I upgraded from an IC2 where the console would cycle through them continuously. So sometimes you'd be waiting, okay, what RPMs am I at? What RPMs am I at? Or how much time am I at? And you'd have to wait for it to come back in order to kind of get an idea of where you are. So to be able to see all of them at once, that's a huge benefit for me, and in my opinion on that one. Also, really being able to track your levels. As you progress in indoor cycling, you really start to understand, okay, this is my level or my resistance that I can typically do my standing at. And as you progress up, you'll be able to increase your load, your resistance on it. You understand that, okay, this is the minimum now that I need on my bike in order to stand up to protect my knees as such. So being able to have that on the bike, see it at once, and being able to adjust those things, it really makes it beneficial and easier for a rider, in my opinion on that one. So updated console, it looks nicer too. Who doesn't like something that looks nice? That's one of the things that you're going to see as bikes progress, and who only knows when, maybe 5 years, what you're going to see on bikes in terms of the console that they have on them. The next one is the magnetic resistance. So this was actually pointed out from people that do have the IC4 in the 1-month review. I did not touch on it, even though I knew it was one of the items that was an upgrade for it. But the magnetic resistance, it's definitely smoother. If you're used to the brake pad and those types of bikes, first trying it out, it's a much different feeling. In my opinion, it's nicer. It definitely feels a little bit more modern just because you're feeling that resistance gradually adjust as you're turning the knob. So smoother ride, nothing wrong with that in my opinion. Bikes are upgrading, equipment's being pushed further inside of this industry. So always a positive in my book. The last positive that I'm going to touch on, and it's really the big one in my opinion, is price. So for this bike, typically you're going to pay around $1,000, maybe $1,100 for a brand new one. I got it discounted, so it was even better for me in terms of pricing. But being able to pay a fraction of what other bikes are, maybe the bigger names out there in terms of at-home cycling bikes, if you are just getting into cycling, and I've put this in different comments off of the IC4 1-month review, I just said, depending upon your budget, how new you are to cycling, these are items you want to think about in terms of what you want to spend. It's no secret that many times people fail, and I just want to put it, I've been in the fitness industry for 10 years. I know that people often fail after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, consistency, those types of things. So if you're going to put up $2,000 plus into one piece of equipment and potentially, and there is a high chance of it, and I don't mean to really put people down on it, but there's a high chance that people will not exercise more than a couple months with it, that if you're going to put that money in, that type of investment into a bike, why not get something that is just as solid, going to fit your needs, and you can buy more equipment. That's really, in my book, a big thing. You can buy more equipment with this bike. I have the Schwinn IC4. I also, in the last year, purchased the Core adjustable home fitness dumbbells. Great piece of equipment, in my opinion, easily adjustable. Those run around $300. But right there, if I was just to take those original costs of those, I'm still not even at the cost of some of the other bikes that are available for at-home fitness. So you can just imagine what you can buy on top of that. you could really build a nice at-home gym. And that's always a thing for people to think about. I've always thought about at-home fitness as a way to save time. You can put that time that you're driving to the gym or to your workout spot, save time, and be able to put it into other places of your life. My opinion on that, you can have your own ons, but the price is something to really consider as a huge benefit, especially if you can go on places like Facebook Market, OfferUp, eBay, get one at a discounted rate, and then go buy a pair of dumbbells, adjustable dumbbells, to really save space and be able to put it into your own workout space. So moving on to the negatives after 5 months of owning this bike. In the first video, I touched on the weight holders, water holders that were right here and how I remove those just because of my limb lengths and the way that when I was standing that my knees would hit those. The other thing on top of that I mentioned in the first video was it was difficult to adjust the handlebars front and back just because of the positioning of the knob where that is. And then lastly, I talked about the length of the cord. I grew up a little bit more since I put that in the 5 months in the cord. It is honestly a negative still, the cord. If I was to bust out that cord, and the first one I showed how long it is, you do need to be close to an outlet in order to be able to power on the console there. Just make the cord a little bit longer, Schwinn. Save people's the need to get an extension cord there. But those negatives, they're not that big. And I think I said that in the first review of this bike, that those things are not that big in the grand scheme. One thing that in the 5 months, and this did not happen to me, but it's always important to mention just because I've heard of individuals that have had issues with the knob and the resistance. So the knob is actually, I should have probably put it in the positives. I think it's a lot easier to touch it. You can essentially just tap it and you're gonna increase your level right there. But another instructor with Time to Train, they actually have had issues with the knob where their base levels are not the same as mine. So where this instructor would be at a level 22, that would be almost the minimum for them. And for me to think that that's where they're standing and that's where their levels are, it's completely off for me. And this instructor has had to contact Schwinn and the group that they bought it from, and essentially having to now pay extra money to have somebody come out to service their bike because those things are just off. She did get a new knob, but something to consider. In my opinion, those things could happen with any bike though. And I think that that's also her opinion as well, that it could happen with any piece of equipment that you buy. Little things happen, but if you have to pay a little bit of money to get it fixed, it's unfortunate. But other items on it still make for a very solid indoor cycling bike. So we hope you appreciate and like this 5-month review. Check out the first video, check out some of the other reviews we have on cycling shoes, on different products for at-home fitness, and some of the other free workouts we have. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for future tutorials, and we'll see you on the screen.